You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.
Hey folks, happy Tuesday. This is Scotty Roberts. You're listening to my show, the Intrepid radio program, right here on the Odyssey Radio Network. That's ODYSY1.com. Come on over, see all the goodness that's Odyssey Radio. Find out all the places where you can hear this show in its audio broadcast. You can find archives and audio broadcast over at Odyssey Radio and over at iTunes and iHeartRadio, as well as Spreaker and a couple of other places. Now, that's in the audio format, so that's ODYSY1.com to hear the radio show. Now, if you want to see the video simulcast of this show, come on over to my YouTube channel. And that's some of you are there now. Some of the most diehard Intrep heads are over there now in the live chat room while the show is going on. That's one of the best parts about this show. You can sign in, you can join the chat room, you can sign in anonymously, you can use your name. If you've already got a YouTube account, it'll sign you in through that, or you can just watch and you don't have to participate at all. But the neat thing about it is that there's activity and there are people talking to each other while this show is happening. So come on over. See the live audio broadcast, the simulcast in video at youtube.com/Mr. Scotty Roberts. Now, I hope you're having a good Wednesday, Tuesday. It's Tuesday. My week is all screwed up because, as you all know, it was my birthday yesterday. My wife took me out for the day and then took me to the WaterStreet Inn in Stillwater, Minnesota. It's a 130-year-old hotel. It was built in 1890 there on that riverfront town, mill town, and it was a hotel all that time. There was also, we learned, it was, they did some banking there. They had some vaults that they found on the second floor, I think it was, and some of them, I think they have closets built into some of the vaults that were remaining there rather than move those heavy things out of there. And that was for some of the lumber barons when they stayed there. They kept their money there. And there was also, according to what we heard and learned last night, there was also a brothel that they think was there going to, if you go down the second floor hallway, that's where that brothel was. And so it's a very interesting old location. If you had a chance and you saw our Facebook videos last night, you saw some of the paranormal investigating that we were doing on the location last night. We didn't get started until, well, after the radio show last night. So between 10 and 11 p.m., we got rolling, and we actually waited till 11 when the night manager was in, somebody who knows Rainey pretty well. And because Rainey runs her massage business, Two Loons Massage, with her friend Kendra, they run that out of the WaterStreet Inn. So they're there all the time, and they take all their tables and stuff up to people's rooms, and they do massages there. And so we got some of the lowdown from Chris, who had a couple of stories, and we walked around. Sorry, I've got all my phones are still on. I am fresh right now, coming off of going through some of the audio that we got last night. And I'll lead up to that, and I'll tell you that, and that's why all my phones are still hooked up and they're dinging. I'll shut them off if they get annoying. So we had a good time yesterday. Let me report, first of all, probably the best 60th birthday party I've ever had. It was just my wife and me, and we were at this gorgeous suite at the Watertown Inn. And it was, you walk into the room. If you saw the videos last night on Facebook, you'll see what it was like. But you walk into the room, there's a big polster bed it's a canopy bed, but there's no canopy on it right now, but it's one of those tall ones with the thing around the top. And gorgeous old antique-y looking, if not antiques. And then you walk down the little hallway, and there's the bathroom, but you go into a big room that faces the sliding glass door, which opens up onto the balcony, which overlooks the river, the St. Croix River, which is right there. It's like there's nothing else in front of the hotel on the riverfront. And so we got this gorgeous room, and it's got a fireplace in it and everything. And So we had kind of talked with some of the people over at the WaterStreet, and of course, because my wife works there, she sees these people several times a week, about saying, look, we want to come in. She said, I want to come in, bring my husband in for his birthday and have a nice overnight without kids and stuff like that, and maybe do a little ghost hunting if he'll let us. And so they let us do that, and they said, just mention us. And so we're thinking there might be a way that we can help put some packages together for people to come down to the WaterStreet Inn and do some paranormal investigating or ghost hunting. And now, as you know, let me do a little parenthetical in the middle of this. If you've done any ghost hunting in your life, you know what it's like, or paranormal investigating. There used to be the big hoity-toity difference. The bottom line is you're looking for entities. You're looking for spirit beings, whether that be ghost hunting or paranormal investigation. Now, there are a difference between the two. There are more the thrill seekers. You want to go find the ghosts and talk to them. And there are some people that are the purists that don't like that because they say, well, look, ghosts are people too, basically, or they used to be people. They have free will. They don't have to talk to you just because you come in and ask. They also don't have to show themselves. They also don't have to be nice. They don't have to be mean. They don't have to be anything. Now, if you are in the religious camp, there are some religious sensibilities, I'd call them, that would say they don't think these are ghosts of real people at all, but demons that are impersonating people to draw you away or distract you from God. And because, it seems to be that if you see that there are ghosts around, and there's ghosts everywhere, maybe that's an indicator that the biblical concept of life after death is different than we thought. And I don't tend to subscribe to that theological explanation of ghosts. So let's say it this way. If you come down there and you spend your time ghost hunting, if you come down to the WaterStreet Inn or you go anywhere, you're going to find things, but sometimes you aren't. As you know so well, and this is where I was going with this, sometimes you can sit ghost hunting or paranormal investigating for hours on end, all night long till the sun rises, and you don't catch a thing. And it's nothing, and it's cold. And another night, somebody else will get all kinds of evidences, recordings, EVPs, things on film, stuff like that. So there's no telling what you're going to get when you go. So all of this to say there's that difference between the ghost hunting, the thrill hunting, and paranormal investigating. When you're a paranormal investigator, you don't want to just raise the voices and do all that. You want to study it. You want to find out why they're there, what's making it happen. And there are people I know that are far more superior on the investigative side than I am. They go into, examination of gamma radiation, finding that when there's investigation or psychic activity, it's like somebody's opening a door and shutting a door with this radiation. And so it's interesting stuff, and I don't know enough about that to speak to it. However, I will speak to the fact that last night we went down to the WaterStreet Inn for my birthday. We're out of the parenthetical now. We're going back to what I started talking about. It was my birthday. It was fun. We got there just before the sun set, so we got some nice videos and nice pictures of the riverfront from our room and so on, just before about 4:30, 5 o'clock last night. Because, it's winter now, no more daylight savings time, so the sun is now setting an hour earlier than it used to. And so we are there, and let me mention one thing before I go on. I went through, as I already mentioned, I went through some of the recordings here, and I want to play them for you, but I can't. I'm not going to play them for you because I don't think you'll hear what I heard. It's so embedded in the white noise. I may post it, give you a place where you can look for this stuff, and you can listen to it. You really have to put on headsets to hear some of the things we heard last night. Probably the most, I'm going to say, with all the stuff I've done with Rocky, with the Big Bang in the house in Minneapolis a few years ago, with the voices speaking to us from where the Dakota concentration camp was at Fort Snelling. All of these big experiences with the paranormal. I've never experienced something that I experienced last night. And I'm going to tell you about it in a couple of minutes here. And if I can't, I'll play it, but I can't guarantee you're going to hear it. So I will also post it, and I'll let you know where you can see it or hear it. But it was incredible. I've never had this happen before. And we thought it was, other than that, a very quiet night. And I'll tell you all about this in a minute. But I was just sitting down in the last half an hour to an hour, going through this recording, trying to amplify something that was so far down in the white noise you couldn't even see it registering on the sound line, the audio line. But you turned up the volume and amplified it, you could hear it clear as a bell all through this this video. And so I'm trying to clarify that, clean it up a little bit, so we could use it on this show. And I finished, and I sat down, I set up my lights, I just came back here and sat down, and I was going to get started, and I heard a big thump. I mean, it was right here, right in front of my face, foot to 18 inches away. Now, around this little corner that's right here on the other side of my desk, I have a glass cabinet that's filled with my old antique books. And it had a sound like somebody thumped up against the glass front. And it's a solid glass front of this old cabinet. Wood frame, no wood or framing in between, just a solid glass door. It sounded like somebody thumped up against it. And so I got up, and I can reach over. That's the cabinet right there. That's how close that is. And so the sound was right here. So I got up, and I walked over there, and cabinet door was shut. I opened it and shut it to see if I got the same sound, and there was a click. It clicks instead of thump with the glass. I kind of bumped into the glass door a few times, did not replicate the sound. There was nothing there that could have fallen to give that sound. So I was a little mystified, and frankly, it doesn't scare me. People say, do you ever get scared? No, but my senses will get tingling, or I can be startled. I can be freaked out at times. I don't get scared of things. So I was standing there just before 2 minutes before I started this show, and I was a little tiny bit freaked out because I thought that was odd. That was a very odd thing. And I had just been going through all this recording, and we just did what we did last night. We didn't tell anybody, you can't come with us. We did say when we were all done last night, now, nobody can come to our room. Leave us alone in our room. Because I don't like waking up with something hovering over my bed. It freaks the shit out of me. And so, but we did do that. Now, if something followed me home, that'd be interesting. If there's something that I brought with me and that is still here, that would be interesting too. That's so subjective, I have no way to figure out how to figure that out. But I did have that sound. It was very loud, and I have never heard it sitting at this desk before. So I sat down, and I had the chills going up the back of my neck, the back of my arms, and I was standing there. It was all up my back. And I thought, that's peculiar. Damn peculiar. And so I don't know if that's an extension of some of the things we saw last night. And last night was pretty calm. It was pretty benign. We got a few things, but there weren't any scary moments. Nothing like that happened. And then, of course, after we were falling asleep, Rainey turns off the TV because she's tired. She's already sleeping. Then she grabbed the tuner, turned off the TV in the room last night, and it's pitch black. And I wanted to say, you don't want to sleep in pitch black, do you? I mean, it was like, can we turn on a light, please? So we slept in the pitch black. And, every now and then there's a little light, a phone, and it's amazing how a little tiny light on a phone can illuminate a room when your eyes are prepped for it. But, so we're laying there and going to sleep. And there's something that happened a couple of hours later, I'm gauging it at about 3 to 3:30 a.m., and we heard something, and I reached for my phone, this phone right here, and I grabbed this, and since I didn't have any audio equipment with me in bed, and I just hit the video. That's the only way I could think, and it's pitch black video you look at, and until Rainey opened the door at one point to check the hallway. But that's the sounds I got, and I'll tell you in a minute what I think I picked up. And so, back to just the mundane. It was a wonderful time off last night. As you know, by watching me and Rainey and me, we are always surrounded by our kids. There is never, ever a dull moment without our children. And let's say, hypothetically, you're a husband and wife, and you want to get it on. I'm trying to think of a good, polite way to say that. You want to become intimate with your partner. And there is never a moment, a waking moment, where that time can be found. We would have to set our quiet phone alarms for the middle of the night to get up and go to another part of the house to, again, I don't know the modern vernacular, but when I was growing up, making whoopee. Quietly, so you don't wake the children. I'm just saying, when you've got 3 kids at home and your mom and dad, and you reach middle age and stuff like that, it's like finding time is ridiculous, let alone finding a place where the kids don't bother you. And so what was beautiful is that Rainey lined up this hotel for us for last night so we could have a night away and celebrate my big 6-0, my big 60th birthday. And so we went down there. We had a good time. All the restaurants are closed. Last night they had to close the restaurant and the pub and even the kitchen, which is normally open. And it's all during this COVID thing. The hotel itself is like all the other little hotels around the area, not doing great business right now because of the whole COVID thing and all the lockdowns. And this is in Minnesota, and the governor of Minnesota, Walz, he just imposed the other day new lockdowns. And so they're letting go some staff, laying them off for a little bit till this is over. They have shut down the Irish pub, Charlie's Pub, and their restaurant because nobody's coming in for going out to restaurants now with the new regulations. And so they've got it all shut down. And except they do have the kitchen going for room service. They'll serve you room service if you actually stay at the hotel. But there was nobody at the hotel, just Rainey and me, and I think there were 1 or 2 other rooms that people were staying in, and that was it. And so while all this is going on, there is I think I got Rocky Stucci is messaging me. Yeah, I sent him this little clip before I started the radio show, and so now he's getting back to me. But I wanted him to hear it. And so, hold on. Hang on just a second. I wonder if I should. No, I'll just save it. I'll get him during the break. And so, all this is going on at the hotel, which is a whole lot of nothing at the moment because of the COVID stuff. And so it was very quiet, but we ordered out Chipotle, and they delivered to the door. And so we had Chipotle, and it was a Mexican evening for a little while there. And our room also had here at the, and I want to push the WaterStreet in a little bit, and there's a reason for this. You can do a little daycation down there, or a vacation. Come on down if you don't live in the area. If you're in the area, you can come down and get a weekend away. I think Rainey spent $100 to get this room for last night. Now, maybe she got a good price because she does massage out of there. I don't know. I don't think so. And we walked in, and they had a bottle of champagne on ice for us to celebrate my birthday, and a little card with a wax seal on it with their logo on it, saying "Happy Birthday, Scotty," and so on. And so we celebrated. There was a fireplace in the big room, and also a jacuzzi, a big hot tub jacuzzi tub. And so Rainey and I availed ourselves of the hot tub with the fireplace going, and watching news or something going on the TV, and so we had a good evening. And so that started at about 5:30, and then I would say about 11 o'clock we went downstairs to meet. We almost didn't go downstairs. And Rainey's like, I don't think I can go, son, after this. You can read into this one. My muscles are all worn out. So as we're going, I said, we ought to think about it. And then she went ahead and she said, I'm getting dressed. Let's go down. I got to do this. It's part of the reason we came here. So we went down. We talked to the night manager, who came in at 11. And so we walked around the hotel and we did our thing. And I do want to, because I said I would, I want to push the WaterStreet Inn. Go look up WaterStreet Inn in Stillwater, Minnesota. And you're going to see the WaterStreet Inn. It's a 130-year-old hotel, gorgeous. They just did some renovations by adding on a new section. So the front desk is now a little more modernized. But the whole building is, we found out last night, you've got your brand new part of your building. You've got your 1960s and forward part of the building. And you've got your pre-1960s all the way back to a room I'm going to talk about when we come back after the break, and the events of last night that I think are very, very telling, in the 1890s section of the hotel, which isn't like a rundown section. I don't mean it to sound that way. 1890s, gorgeous rooms. We walked into the room. It was like our room, but it had a big table, round table with all kinds of chairs around it. It looked like somebody might be playing poker in there. And velvet sofas and all of that. And the Victorian looked everything. And then you walk down and it's got the big four-poster canopy bed in the other room, and a fireplace in there, and a fireplace in the card room. Well, what we called the card room. And this was the 1890s room. And it's all modernized, of course, but it's all very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Ambiance is there. But this is where we got the activity of something. And as many of you may or may not know, Rainey is very sensitive on that psychic level. Now, she doesn't practice it a lot. She doesn't put it out there. She doesn't do readings for people or anything like that. But she can feel it when we go do our investigations. And she was sitting, and if you saw some of the video I did last night from that room, the second video we did last night, you can see I looked through the doorway to the room where she is, and you can see her sitting on the sofa, and she's got her elbows on her knees and her hands in her face. And she's just sitting very still and quiet. And I walked back there and I asked what's going on. And if you saw some of this last night, she told me that she was seeing a woman in a dress that was talking to her, but she couldn't really hear her. And so the woman bent over and started to whisper in her ear and told her that she wanted us to sing. And she was very specific. Sing Loch Lomond. You know that song, you take the high road, I'll take the low road. And we'll get to Scotland. I'll tell you more of this when we get back. I'm looking at the clock. So it was very interesting. And what we got on tape will be very interesting after that. So you guys sit tight. We'll be right back after this break. We're going to talk a little bit more about this. Stay tuned.
Of Loch Lomond. Oh, you take the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland afore ye. But me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. 'Twas there that we parted in yon shady glen, on the steep, steep sides of Ben Lomond. the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland afore ye. But me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. The wee birdies sing and the wildflowers spring, and in sunshine the waters are sleeping. But the broken-hearted cans may second spring again, though the woeful may cease from their grieving. Oh, you take the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland afore ye. But me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Rainey Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad, so he can take me to Disneyland.
Hey folks, this is Scotty Roberts. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for sitting on through that break. And you are listening to this show via Odyssey Radio. And that's over at ODYSY1.com. Go on over, check out all the goodness that is Odyssey Radio. And of course my show, the Intrepid radio program, right here on the Odyssey Radio Network. And you can also view the simulcast of this show in its video format over on my YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/Mr. Scotty Roberts, if you've never been there. Now, the chat room is going on right there, over there right now. We're halfway through the show. That chat room is going strong. Come on over, join the other Intrepids, and add to the conversation over in the chat room, or just watch the conversation, listen to the show. Tonight, I don't have any special pictures to throw up or anything like that, so you're just going to have to look at my ugly mug all night on the video. But the best part about the YouTube channel is that live chat room, so come on over and join it, or at least observe it, see what's going on. And that's, again, youtube.com/Mr. Scotty Roberts. Now, we were talking about where I was last night. Rainey took me out for my birthday, my big 6-0. And they call it that. There's always people who have the big 4-0. Oh, it's your big 4-0. Let's get some black balloons. You're now over the hill. Well, that for me was 20 years ago. And that's frankly where Rainey is now. Rainey is 40. And I just hit my 60th birthday last night. So she took me out to the WaterStreet Inn in Stillwater, Minnesota. Now, that is where she has her business, Two Loons Massage, that she does with her friend and partner, Kendra. And they do massage at the hotel. The hotel will line up massage through their guests, and Rainey and Kendra will go up and do a massage up in the rooms there. They also do, if you're local to the Twin Cities, they'll come to you if you want massage. And so that's where she works, and she's over there at least 3 days out of the week, and it's sometimes 4, sometimes 5. But she cut a deal and said, hey, I want to do a special birthday for my husband, and let's get a room. And so they gave us a beautiful room. And she said, while we're there, she talked to the managers, I've heard that there are ghost stories about this place. And can we do a little ghost hunting, is the way she described it to them. And they said, yeah, absolutely. And they're kind of all of the mind of, hey, during this COVID, when there's a lot less business, sure, put it out there. And let's maybe put some packages together for people who want to come down and investigate the WaterStreet Inn. Now, folks, that hotel has been there since 1890. It's 130 years old. And it has been a hotel the whole time. Now, think of all the traffic, the human traffic that goes through. Human traffic, not in the negative sense, but the human traffic that goes through. And see, I'm hearing stuff again. I just had something move over here, and it made a noise, and I don't know what it was. Now, I told you before I started the show, I told you last segment, I heard the big... It's not a bang, that sounds like it would be... It was a thump, and it sounded like... and it was very loud. I mean, it was right here. I'm getting chills again just talking about it. Now I'm getting stuff over here I just heard. So, who the hell knows what's going on? All I will say is this. If anybody is here in this room, make yourself known. Do something. Show something on the camera here. Say something that we all can hear. Touch me. Move something. Don't have to throw anything at me. I don't want anything thrown at me. That's going to hurt anyway. But make yourself known. You're welcome to. Now, I only say that because I don't know if something came along from last night. It's all so fresh in my mind. And because I was working on this recording before the show started, I'm going to play it for you, but I don't think you're going to be able to make it out. So I'll have to put it up in a different place, and I can send out links, and you can go listen to it. But last night, the last thing I told you at the end of the last segment was that we were in the room, one of the 1890s room, and Rainey saw a woman in a big dress and leaned over and whispered to her. And she told Rainey to sing Loch Lomond, and which I did. Now, if you don't know that song, I did a video. I think the singing is on the video, but I'm not sure. If we included that, because that was at the end of everything we were doing last night. But she was singing and wanted us to sing. And so I sang Loch Lomond, and then I asked her, I said, now if you're here, and you heard that I left off in some place, I said, I'm going to sing part of it, and maybe you can sing the rest back to us. And we didn't hear anything at the time. But as we left that room, I said, I would love to hear you sing. So if you can sing for us, please do. And now this had to be around 12:30, 1 o'clock last night. And so we were done. We went down and we talked to the manager for a couple of minutes and said, hey, thanks for letting us do this. And if we find anything, we'll let you know what it is. And we'll do a big spiel on the WaterStreet Inn and what we picked up there. And by the way, as I ended off leaving off, if you want to visit the WaterStreet Inn, I think they will put some packages together. We might work with them to get some ghost hunting packages done. Or you can come and stay down there and do a little ghost hunting. So we went back to our room and we went to bed. And as I mentioned at the end of the last segment, as we're falling asleep, we're dozing off. We had the TV going. And Rainey shuts off the TV and it's pitch black. Like, oh boy, it's pitch black. And, well, no, I take that back. The TV was still on, but the sound, I think the sound was off completely. Can't remember exactly. But all I know is that it was pitch black in the room. And I was like, oh, great. You want it pitch black in here? Well, then a little while later, it had to be close to 3 a.m. Rainey said, I heard her sit up in bed, and she said, do you hear music? And we stopped and it was very silent. It was like this. No, I don't hear any music. And then I said, wait, I do hear it. I hear it. And it was very faint. You couldn't tell, is this somebody's... It sounded like it was, you're in a hotel and somebody's playing their TV too loud or their music. Can't make out a single word being said, can't make out a melody. You just hear the sound. And I'm listening, and she got up and she stuck her head out the door into the hallway to see if she could hear it in the hallway, and there's nothing. And what we found out this morning, there's nobody else was on our floor anyway. And there was nobody above us, nobody below us. We were on the second floor. And the only two other people in the rooms, one was way over on the other end, over on the other end. So, and nobody was playing music. No workers were playing music. They only had a skeleton staff there last night because they're paring down because of the COVID stuff. There's only a couple people. And so we're hearing music. And she came back and laid back down in bed. And I said, I grabbed my phone and I turned on the video. And I said, look, let's do a video because I don't have any audio equipment set up. And I just held the phone up. And we were very quiet. And as we're listening, that faint, you couldn't tell, Rainey said, I think I hear two instruments. I think there's a guitar and a violin or something. And I'm listening and I say, I don't hear that at all. I hear humming or singing. And it was like that, only so faint you could barely hear it. But then it got a little stronger at points, and I said, Rainey, that is coming from inside our room, is where it sounds like. It's either inside the room here with us, or it's right on the other side of the wall. It had that kind of sound. You know, like you're in your own house, and you're in your bedroom, and your kid's playing the stereo or playing something in the other room, and you can barely hear it, but it's on the other side of the wall. That's kind of what it sounded like. But there was nobody staying in rooms next to us, and nobody on the whole floor. Nobody upstairs. And so we're listening, and it was very distinct. And I said a couple of times, I said, Rainey, I'm not hearing musical instruments. I am hearing a voice singing. I don't hear words, but I hear like humming. And I played this recording for about 3 minutes. I recorded. And you can't really hear it very well. And I took the audio and I called it up on my screen. And here, I'm going to show you something. Let's see if I can do this for you, just to demonstrate what it is I'm seeing. I'm going to grab the right window here. It's this one. And I'm going to shoot a picture of this. And I'm going to put this up so you can see this. All right. Let's go this way. And I think this will be interesting for you to see, so then you can see what I do. All right. I'm going to take this now, and over in my visual, I'm going to throw up an image for you to see. And this is my program, Amadeus. And I use this to record video, splice video, and so on. And let me find that here. I want you to see what I'm looking at as I'm doing this. Looks like this. Okay, boom. All right, this is my audio. Just so you can see it. This is when I import something like this, it looks like that. All right? Taking a look at that on the video stream. Sorry, those of you listening to the audio only, you're not going to see this. But this is the video stream. And as you can see there, I have got, you can see some straight lines. Now, this is stereo. This is left and right. You're seeing up and down. And you can see a straight line, which I've already enhanced here. It was almost an indiscernible straight line with a couple little blips on it. And then you get to the point where you see these little blips. That's me talking. That's Rainey saying something, and then Rainey and I were talking together about 3/4 in toward the end here. And all these in-between spaces where you see the bold straight line, that is the area of white noise that we were hearing. And where I took that, and I took that white noise, and I amplified it 500%, then 1,000%. And so you're getting a lot more hiss like that from the white noise, but then you hear the humming. Now, I'm going to play this for you right now. I do not think you'll be able to hear it. And I can't run it through my system, so I'm going to let the microphone pick it up. Hold on a second. Pardon my my fumbling with my mic. I'm going to turn that mic around, and I want to see if you can hear this. Listen to this now. Listen to the white noise, first of all. This is a small segment, and buried in the white noise is humming. Listen to this. Well, maybe. It's not playing for some reason. Hold on. I think I know why. I think I know why. Let me see if I can play this for you. I've got to go to my sound input for this, my audio output, and we're going to call it there's my audio, that's my microphone, and my audio output I should be able to play for you. The output, let's go to the default. Nothing. Okay, I'm going to cancel. I'm going to make sure I didn't affect my microphone. Nope, I'm okay. All right, let's try this again. Let's see if we can play this. For some reason, the sound is not coming in. If I can't play the sound, you just won't be able to hear it. See, I'm not getting anything. It's not playing back. Let me try another way. Hold on. Got one other place where we can try this. See if you can hear this. Nope, it is not. Oh, you know why? I got my headset plugged into the back of the computer. Hang on. There it is. Okay. I'm going to call this sound back up. Sorry for that fumbling around. Scintillating live radio. So let's go back over here to Amadeus. I'm going to call up the... now I want you to listen to this and tell me what you hear, if you can hear it. Here we go. Right in here. Now in here. Now, that was very hard to hear anything. I didn't hear it until I had a pair of headsets on. So I'm going to play this one more time. It's only about 30 seconds. Listen very closely. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say here, because I know it gets louder there, and then here, and it gets louder again for a few seconds. You'll hear the hiss, but then what I need you to do is listen very, very carefully. Here, let's see if I can bring this up even a little bit more in amplification. Okay, let's try this. Now the hiss is going to be very loud, but see if you can hear. Listen now very closely. Here. And here. Okay, did you hear that? Now, I'm going to turn my mic back around, so pardon the noise of doing that. It's a directional mic. And so, in that noise, I could hear like that, and I couldn't make out a distinct melody or a distinct tune. But this was the sound that we were picking up last night. And that, to me, The reason I think this is, remember when I said Rainey saw the woman and whispering in her ear, told her to sing a song. And we sang that song. Rainey said she put the thought in my mind, Loch Lomond. And so we sang that. And then we went to bed a couple of hours later after having said we'd love to hear you sing. And then what wakes us up around 3 a.m.? That sound. Now, that was just 30 seconds of the 3 minutes. There's several other little segments that sound just like that. In between, Rainey and I sing a couple of words. And we're laying in bed, having been woken up, and we hear the singing. And I recorded it, and I'm hearing humming or la, 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 la. And it's so muffled and so low and so buried in the white noise that it doesn't even stand out like that image I showed you. As you can see here, what you were just listening to, if you could hear it at all, was this right here. The high points, the dark marks, you see that's Rainey and I saying something, talking to each other. The lines in between are where the humming is. And you can see on that middle line, you see a couple of little tiny spikes in there. That's where I'm hearing the humming. Or that's when you're hearing my stomach growl, or the rustle of the sheet as I move my elbow. So this was very interesting, and it's something that I will honestly say I've never experienced before. I have never heard anything sing to me before. I've sung before many years ago, 10, 12 years ago, 2008. We were at an old theater in St. Paul, and I sang, and because the kids liked the singing, and the old guy who was supposed to be there at the theater said on the obelisk, "Enough, stop." So he didn't like the singing. But so we sang last night, and I'll just show you. This is what we sang last night. We sat in that room, and if there's anybody that followed me here by any chance, I don't think so, but with all the little weird things going on here today, I sang, if you don't know Loch Lomond, it's on yon bonny banks and on yon bonny braes, where the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond, me and my true love were ever one to gae. On the bonny, bonny banks o' Loch Lomond. 'Twas there that we parted in yon shady glen, on the steep, sweet side of Ben Lomond, where in purple hue the Highland hills we view, and the moon comin' out and the gloamin'. Oh, you tak the high road and I'll tak the low road, and I'll be in Scotland afar ye, but me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. Now, Rainey said she specifically felt that this last verse is what this woman was asking for. The wee birdies sing, and the wild flowers spring, while the sun on the water is sleepin'. But the broken-hearted kens nae second spring again, and the wae-fools cease from their gravin'. Oh, you tak the high road, and I'll tak the low road, and I'll be in Scotland afar ye, but me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. Now that third verse that she was asking Rainey to sing, and by the way, I cannot make out a melody on this recording. So I'm going to see if we analyze it a little more, if we can come up with the melody, see if there's a tune being sung. If it's Loch Lomond, I'll drop my jaw. But the song says in the third verse that she was asking for, the wee birdies sing and the wildflowers spring, and the sun on the water is sleeping. Sun on the water is sleeping, and the... what do the words say? And the wee birdies sing and the wildflowers spring, while the sun on the water is sleeping. But the broken-hearted kens or knows, the broken-hearted kens nae second spring again. The broken-hearted knows it'll never spring again. And the wae-fools cease from their grievin, which was the Scots way of saying, and the woeful will cease from their grieving. So the broken-hearted knows it can never spring again, and the woeful will cease from their grieving. You take the high road, I'll take the low road. But me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. And so what's interesting about that is that was there a message being given to Rainey that this is somebody who has lost somebody close to them, is grieving the parting of the ways? As the old legend to that song goes, it was originally two brothers that were being held captive by the English, and one was set free and one was going to be executed. And he wrote this little poem out for him, is the way the story goes. And he says, you take the high road, you're getting set free. You take the high road, and I'll take the low road. But I'll be to Scotland before you. Let's see, but I'll be to Scotland before you. And the broken heart, no. And, but me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. So you and I will be together in Scotland again, but I'll never meet my true love again. And so he was, tell my true love I love her. And so this is interesting that song. Now, this is so highly subjective. There is no way to prove that Rainey actually had a woman in a dress speaking to her. We didn't see it. It wasn't captured on film. We were sitting in, and I think we did film this portion, sitting on that sofa, and she saw a little light reflected in the picture across the room from us. And the lights were on in the room, by the way. And she saw something move and unmove from that picture. And so there was some movement in the room. But if indeed Rainey saw a woman in a dress, and that woman whispered in Rainey's ear, bent over and whispered and said, sing this song, and impressed on Rainey especially the third verse, which is what we sang. And then we asked her to sing for us. And around 3 a.m., a couple of hours later, 3 hours later maybe, we're woken up in the middle of the night with singing in our room. And it wasn't musical instruments, it wasn't a radio, it wasn't somebody's TV. It was, and it sounded like it was coming from outside the room or the other side of the wall, but it was in the room. The sound was in the room. Again, so subjective, there's no way to prove it. So, did we have a woman sing to us last night at the WaterStreet Inn? Maybe. Who is she? I don't know. This morning when we went down and we talked to a couple of the people that are on management there that were gathered, and they said there are stories here of people, and some of our staff have heard somebody singing down the hallways at night, late night. When they're all alone, they'll hear somebody singing. That's all we got out of that story. Is that who this is? We didn't know that story till this morning, but we got the singing last night and Rainey being asked to sing last night. And I'm sorry, I've got Somebody thinks they need to be calling me right now. Oh, it's Rod Holland. I gotta let him go. Hold on, folks. Somebody's calling me while I'm doing my show, and I'm gonna have to decline him and let him know that I'll call him back. Well, we'll be done in a few minutes, and I'll try him back. So there it is. That was our experience last night. I had a good time with Rainey at the hotel. We had a good time investigating. And I think we picked up some voices. We heard some things. Teresa heard some things while we were filming early on when we were down in the pub area. Rainey and I heard a couple of things, but this singing last night is an experience I've never had before. And trust me when I say this, I don't need to hear or see ghosts so bad that I'll manufacture shit out of my head. I want to know something's there, not make believe it's there, so I just have my own little private proof. No. If I heard something, I heard something, and I caught it on tape. And we did a little investigation to find out if there was anybody else that could have been playing music. Nothing. And we have heard, though, that there are stories of employees having heard singing down that same hallway. So that's where I'm going to leave that with you folks. We're done for tonight. I'll get as much as I can a more enhanced version of this and put it up so you can hear it, and I'll post a link probably over on my Facebook page, or we'll talk about it tomorrow night. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. You guys have a good rest of your night. We'll see you right back here tomorrow, 23 hours. Have a good night.
Oh, you take the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland afore ye. But me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. The wee birdies sing and the wildflowers spring, and in sunshine the waters are sleeping. But the broken-hearted cans may second spring again, though the woeful may cease from their grieving. Oh, you take the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland